In this video, we're taking a look at the brand new Rode VideoMicro II. Could this be the perfect vlogging microphone? Let's find out. Hey there, welcome to the video. Now you know what, I think we should start straight away with some sound samples from this microphone. So we're going to do that in a second, and then we're going to compare it against some other microphones too nearer the end of the video. So we've got the Sarin Q1 microphone, which is kind of like a Rode rip-off microphone. We have one of my favorites, the Sennheiser MKE 400. We have the Joby Wavo, which is similarly priced to this microphone. And then we have one of the big daddies, the Rode VideoMicro Plus, also one of our favorites here at Editor's Key. So we're going to do a comparison outdoors as well. So we're going to do that near the end of the video. But tell you what, let's jump straight into this, the Rode VideoMicro II. So you're now listening to me on the brand new Rode VideoMicro II. How is the audio quality coming from this tiny little microphone? I've already had a little listen to this when I was previewing all of the microphones yesterday, and I've got to say, I'm pretty impressed. It's got a nice rich tone to it. But I want to do these sound samples straight away in the studio. I've got the camera set up roughly at arm's length because this is the sort of distance that I would hold the camera if I'm doing any vlog tests. So next up, let's switch to this. This is maybe a competitor of this microphone. This is the Sarin Q1. It's actually a bit of a Rode rip-off. Let's switch to that so you can hear the difference between these two. Okay, now we are on the Sarin Q1 microphone. The audio coming from this microphone I always felt was okay, but if I'm honest, I actually avoid using this microphone now for a couple of reasons. Number one, it's a little bit tinny, I feel. It's a little bit flat sounding, but also when you walk with it, its interior shock mount or built-in shock mount that's on the actual microphone is not very good, and you kind of get this like boom, boom, boom sound as you're walking around and you're vlogging. So it's okay to use in a studio setup, but I wouldn't use a little microphone like this permanently in a studio. And then it's not that great as a vlogging microphone because of those main issues. The actual sound isn't too bad, but you often end up with a ruined clip because of how they've built that microphone. And it's a little bit of a Rode rip-off, if I'm honest. But anyway, what do you think of this? Next, we're going to jump to the Joby Wavo. This is similarly priced to the Rode VideoMicro II. Let's switch to this and see what you think. Okay, now we are on the Joby Wavo microphone. This is a very similar price to the Rode VideoMicro II. How does it sound? In the past, I've used this quite often. It's okay. Again, it's a little bit flat, I think, in my own sound comparisons against this and the new Rode. But what do you think? This is why I wanted to do these sound tests, so you can let me know which of these is your favorite microphone. Now, I do like having these types of microphones in my camera bag. As mentioned, later on in the video, we'll do some tests with some super high-end Rode VideoMicro Plus and the Sennheiser MKE 400. But those microphones need batteries, or they need to be recharged, or they have little dials and things that you can change on them. And sometimes that's not a great thing to have when you just want to get filming, get vlogging, and you want to be on the go. So that's why I like having these in my bag. And that's why I was really interested in the Rode VideoMicro II, because the sound quality should be a lot better. So that's a little sound test against all three microphones. Let's have a quick look at what you get in the box, and then we'll do some outdoor tests, and then we'll compare it against some of the bigger microphones. So let's quickly take a look at what you get inside the box and talk about this microphone a little more before we take it outside. So the microphone is really, really small and it's extremely light. It weighs just 39 grams. So if you're a vlogger or content creator who really cares about the weight of their bag, this is definitely an option if you want a lightweight microphone that sounds actually really good. Now, the first thing you'll notice here is this new, very, very strange shock mount that comes with the microphone. This is the Helix isolation mount. It looks very, very strange. It's been built in-house by Rode, and they claim it's actually going to do a much, much better job than standard shock mounts for microphones of this size. And I've got to say, it actually does a pretty good job. It allows the microphone to wobble around, but nothing's hitting the microphone. It's actually allowing it to wobble around without any of those sounds getting into the microphone. And from the sort of minimal tests I've done so far, it's actually doing a pretty good job. As I mentioned with the Sarin Q1 microphone, and this will happen with the original Rode VideoMicro. You have this kind of shock mount, but it's very, very stiff. As you can see, the microphone will kind of wobble around, and it's not really doing a lot, to be honest, to get rid of any shocks, especially if you're tapping the side of your camera as you're walking, or the microphone's going up and down. It's not doing much, and this one does seem to do a good job as Rode says it does. So that's included in the box. Next, you get a regular TRS to TRS cable. This is the cable that you will use to plug into any DSLR camera. Next up, we've got a TRS to TRRS cable. This is black on one side and gray on the other. And this is a cable that you can use to plug into any smartphone. Now, if you do have an Android or an iPhone, you will need a little adapter if it doesn't have a headphone jack, which is pretty much every phone these days. But they're about £10. You can get a genuine Apple one that we use with our Rode Wireless Go that works fantastic. So it's really nice that Rode have included this cable in the box, because I think a lot of people who are content creators are going to be using their phones. Phones are getting extremely good, so it's nice that's included there. Next up, we get the Rode branded foam windshield. So if you're in the studio, I would recommend just leaving this off if you have no wind or air conditioning. This is what I would take out for a regular day with just very slight wind noise. It's going to keep the size and weight down, and it's going to block a little bit of that wind. Now, if you are going out for a full day, maybe you're next to the sea, maybe it's a windy day, they do include this full dead cat as well, which is really, really good. Very high quality dead cat. And again, some microphones do not come with these included. So it's great for this package. So I think it's pretty great. For around £80 here in the UK, you get the microphone, shock mount, the cables that you need for any device, and both of these wind deflectors or dead cats. Super handy. So now I think it's time we put this to the test. Let's pop this one on and then take it outside to do some outside vlogging tests. Okay, we're outside. This is our first test with the VideoMicro II. How does it sound? What I'm gonna do, sorry about the crows or something we've got in the distance. It's not actually that windy today, but what I'm gonna do is a little walking test, because as I mentioned earlier in the video, where a lot of these small microphones really fall down is that the shock mounts, to be honest, aren't very good, or the internal capsules are sort of banging on something inside of the microphone. So you often hear like a thud, a very gentle thud that you can't get rid of once you get back into the edit. So I'm just going to walk up here now. I'll stop talking, just see if you can hear that. I couldn't hear it in some earlier tests, and it could be thanks to the new Helix isolation mount in the Rode VideoMicro II. Now, I've actually brought out the Sarin microphone, which we'll use next as a test, because that was the one that really did have some problems with it. So this is the VideoMicro II outside. It's not a very windy day, but how does it sound? Okay, now we have switched to the Sarin Q1 microphone. Same position, the birds are still squawking in the distance, and this is the microphone I mentioned that sounds good when it's still, but when you walk, it often cuts out, or you'll hear some little banging sounds, and it's usually due to the shock mount. So I'm just going to walk with this, see if you can hear this on the Sarin Q1 microphone. Also think about how the richness of the microphone sounds, because it's quite an important factor, I think, because it saves you editing in post. If you get a nice rich vocal, it's usually pretty good. What I'm going to do now is just walk up and down without talking. Can you hear the shock mount? Just going to give it a little shake as well. Don't know if you could hear that. Let me know. You may not be able to hear it today. It's not very windy, but I've often heard it on this microphone when it's a particularly windy day, and it just ruins the take every single time. So now we have switched to one of the big boys. This is the Rode VideoMicro Pro Plus, one of my favorite microphones along with the Sennheiser. Now this one is around about 160 to 200 pounds here in the UK. Let's do a little walk. So it's quite a lot more expensive, and I think Rode potentially have a problem on their hands here, because I personally think the Rode VideoMicro II sounds really quite good. So I think it could take some sales away from some of their higher end microphones like this. But let me know what you think, because that's the most important thing, how these things actually sound when you're recording with them. Would you use the VideoMicro II over the VideoMicro Pro Plus? Of course, this has some good features. It's powered for one, it has a rechargeable battery, you've got a minus 10 dB, and you've got a low frequency switch, which the other non-powered microphones like the VideoMicro II don't have. So it could be a big plus for you, and this could potentially be the better studio mic. Now we have switched to the Sennheiser MKE 400 microphone. Again, one of my favorite microphones, just because I think the sound coming straight out of the microphone is really, really good. The microphone does have a couple of downsides. Let's talk about that. So the first of the downsides is that it's battery powered, which isn't usually a problem, but this doesn't come with a rechargeable battery pack. You actually have to swap out AAA batteries, which can be a bit of an issue if you're on a shoe and you don't have spare batteries with you. But to be honest, the battery life has lasted a long, long time. I think we're only on our second pack of batteries in about 2 years worth of ownership. So really, really good. The audio quality as well coming out of this microphone has always, in my mind, been pretty good. But again, this is £200. So you could get two VideoMicro II microphones for the price of this one. Is this that much better for you? What do you think of the sound quality coming out of this microphone? What do you think of the shock mount? Is it banging? Is it making any noise? I think what we should do now is switch back to the Rode VideoMicro II before we head back into the studio. And again, we're back on the VideoMicro II. The wind has picked up a little bit, so let me know if the sound isolation from the dead cat is working. And again, we've just jumped from the big boys, the VideoMicro Pros and the MKE 400s. Can you really hear a big difference between the switch down essentially to the VideoMicro II, or is it actually competing really, really well? What I think we should do now is go back into the studio. I'm going to have a listen at all of the sound samples that we've got so far, just so I can give you my roundup at the end. But I really want to hear from you. What do you think? You're the one listening to this. If you can, listen back to the video, put headphones on, and let me know what you think of the sound quality coming from all of these microphones. And let me know what is your favorite, and would you pick up this new VideoMicro II? Let's head back in. Okay, so after listening to all of the sound samples from this microphone, what do I think? Well, I've got to say, I'm actually pretty impressed. The audio coming out of this microphone is really, really good. The tones are much, much richer than the old VideoMicro. I think some of these smaller microphones, as I've mentioned in the past, sound a little bit tinny, and you can tell they're a small microphone. This one sounds like a big microphone, but you get the ability to not need batteries, to have a small and lightweight sort of microphone on your camera, perfect for vlogging. Now, is it as good as the Rode VideoMicro Plus or the Sennheiser MKE 400? Not quite, of course, but they are £200 microphones here in the UK. This is around 80, and I would say this is almost up to those levels. You know, it's not quite there, but it's almost there. So I think if you're looking for a good microphone for vlogging, maybe you want a secondary microphone, this could be the perfect choice in my opinion. And this is not a sponsored review. Rode have not paid us to do this review. They did send in the mic to the office, but all of the companies always send us in microphones, so it's not like I owe one company favor over the other. I will always give you my honest opinion. So if you want to check this out, I'll put a link in the description below. And if you've got any questions about this microphone, or if you'd like us to do more tests, let me know and we'll do that video next. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.